Hello everybody, how are you? This is Andreja and welcome to the first episode of my new drawing series. The idea is that in each episode I will draw a chibi character that represents that month's zodiac sign. That means that this series will last for a full year before I've drawn all 12 of them. And after that I plan to perhaps make some cute charms like you've seen me do in the past. Usually the first sign on the list is Aries, but I'm a bit late for that one, so I'll start this series with Taurus. But before I continue, let me quickly tell you what I'm using for this. The sketching stage is done in Photoshop CC, while the inking and coloring is done using Illustrator CC. Both programs can be found on the Adobe website and used by paying a monthly subscription fee. In terms of hardware, I use a Wacom Cintiq Companion 2. I left links to the exact model in the description box. The black glove that you see me using is mostly for the purpose to keep the screen clean and so that my hand glides smoothly when leaning on the glass. Okay, so the basics have been covered. Now it is time to answer some of the questions that you've left me on Instagram. Thanks to everybody who left a question under my Q&A post. I never know what to talk about in these videos, so it really helps. Question number 1. Why did I decide to do this series? What sign will come after Taurus? And will I do international sales? So I've wanted to come up with a new larger YouTube series for a while now. And then while I was doing some research, I came across some artwork featuring the 12 signs. But of course, as it happens most of the time, my sign looked really boring. I'm Pisces, by the way. And I feel like the horoscope signs fall in two categories. The ones that are always drawn beautifully, the hero signs, and then the filler signs. I've always felt like I was the filler sign. Even looking back when I was a child, there was this time when it was really popular to gift presents that are horoscope themed, like necklaces with your own horoscope symbol, books about your sign, cups, and all sorts of merchandise. And I always disliked the artwork and the color of mine. So now that I've grown up and that I have the skills and have the power to make a difference, I want to draw every single sign and have all of them as equally cute as possible. And I understand from a design point of view that certain themes are just easier to make eye-catching. I deal with this same challenge every day working at a toy company. But I will still try my hardest and spend twice or even 3 times the time on the more difficult signs, just to try and make them equally cute as the other more popular signs. So yeah, this is my main motivation for this series. Now, regarding the sign that will come after Taurus, as I said before, I will do it in order, so the next one should be Gemini. I've already started brainstorming that one, because this kind of series take a lot of planning if I want to keep up with the schedule. And last part of the question, will I sell internationally? Well, what I will end up doing mostly depends on you guys and the amount and type of interest that I get. Worst case scenario, I will probably at least set up a Society 6 page and sell some t-shirts with the designs. That way I don't need to worry about packing orders, shipping, customer service and all that time-consuming processes. If there is not enough interest to make the charms, I will just get some made for myself and use them in giveaways or special occasions. Well, thank you for the question. Now on to the next one. How much time does it usually take you to finish up a drawing? That is a really difficult question to answer because it depends on so many factors. Plus, I don't really time myself. I spend as much time as I feel it needs. but this one took me 2 days. So yeah, even though it is such a simple drawing, it took a long time. I feel like in this age of speed paints videos, people forget or just don't realize that even simple things can take a long time to make. This is why I'm excited to start my Twitch channel. People will see me working at my real unedited speed. They will experience the raw process of projects that take anywhere from 10 to 20 hours that usually end up being condensed in a 5 to 10 minutes long YouTube video. It might be boring to some people, but I think it is healthy to see the reality and how long things actually take. Okay, next question. Will you repaint more ever after high dolls? So I get this question a lot actually. Not just in regards to ever after high dolls, but others as well. So I thought I might explain my point of view. Basically, you could say that I am picky. I lean towards a very specific type of aesthetic. And because I don't have a lot of free time, I have to be mindful about how I spend it. I need to really like a doll to feel motivated enough to spend days of my precious time working on it. Also, painting dolls is not a one-way road to me. If a face sculpt doesn't inspire me, if it doesn't talk to me, then I prefer working on one that does. And yes, I might be able to do a good job on it, even if I don't feel inspired by that sculpt. But that is not fun for me, and it would feel forced and not rewarding enough. It is almost like I gave it a lot of time and effort, but I did not get much in return. This is why I am picky about the dolls that I get, because to me, whenever I paint one, it is more of a collaboration between me and the artist or company that made the doll. It is not a competition about how many different dolls I can paint or how many different styles I can cover. That's not why I do this. The same goes with questions like, why don't you paint boy dolls, or why don't you try making, for example, a goth-inspired doll? It is just because I lack interest in it, nothing else. Some people say that it will be a good challenge, but I don't know. I don't think there is anything wrong with keeping a hobby just fun and relaxing. I mean, it's all a personal decision. And the word challenging can mean different things to different people. In my case, I like to challenge myself by trying out different techniques, materials, or drawing things in a different way. It could be as simple as just using a different stroke, for example. So we are still challenging ourselves, but in a more subtle way, which might not be as obvious in a video. So to go back to the original question, then yes, I will definitely paint more ever after high dolls and other types of dolls, if I find one that catches my eye and meshes well with my aesthetic sense. But this is just my point of view. Each artist has different goals and motivations. We're all different and unique in our own way. Okay, moving on. How many layers would you say this chibi has? Interestingly enough, I don't use layers in Illustrator, I use groups. So I group elements together, like each eye is a separate group, the mouth is a group, the hair at the front of the face is a group, while the hair sitting behind the face is another group, and so on. I don't know how other artists work, but layers are not as important and useful to me as they are in Photoshop. When I draw in Photoshop, I can have literally over 100 layers. Again, I can't advocate that the way I do things is good or smart, but it is definitely what I'm used to and what works for me. Alright, I see that I've received many questions that I've already answered in previous Q&A, be it about my education, or where I work, or how I started in the hobby. So if I didn't answer your question, it is very likely that I've already answered it in the past. I will prioritize new questions. I think that makes sense and is most fair. Okay, next question. Aside from drawing and dolls, what other hobbies do you have? Yeah, those hobbies are pretty much it. They take most of my time and energy. And just those two allow me to be creative in so many different ways. I like mixing things up a bit. Do digital drawing one weekend, then paint a doll the next one, edit videos in between. And for each of those tasks there is so much to learn, so I am never bored. I think we only have time for one last question. When do you feel like you began painting? And how did you discover this talent of yours? I've been drawing since I can remember. It was something that was really fun for me to do from the very start. And it turned into a very strong passion as I grew older. Now, regarding talent and when I discovered I had it, there was no such point. I don't really believe that talent is as important as people give it credit. Some people are definitely wired to learn certain skills faster or to have an eye for something, but in the end we all start from zero. I truly believe that anyone can be an artist. However, not everyone is willing to put in the amount of time, effort, and make all the needed sacrifices to make it happen. It is really hard. I mean, we do have only a limited amount of free time each day, so it is so important to decide where and how are you going to invest your time. And this is it. I hope you like Miss Chibi Taurus. I think of her as a very gentle and shy soul who loves flowers, animals, and long walks in the forest. Next time it will be Gemini, so wish me luck. But yeah, this is all I have for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment and share. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and I'll talk to you again next week. Bye!